But before I start, let's have a quick look at the materials. Now here I've got my palette. Always, I'll just put it the right way in. Always have the colours in the same place all the time, that way you can instantly access them, know exactly where they are. We've got ultramarine blue, lemon yellow, Payne's grey, alizarin crimson, raw sienna, burnt umber, light red. They're all Cotman watercolours, and what I do, I squeeze them out the tube and then I just let them dry overnight. Sometimes they might be a little bit sticky, like that one. Well, once I've wetted it, it might go a bit sticky, but it doesn't matter. After 2 or 3 days it's bone dry. It just stops you wasting paint. I got tired of losing paint on the tray all the time, so that's why I started using it dry. I've got some brushes down here, but 99% of the work is done with the large Ron Ranson Hake. They do come bigger than this. I've just cut the end off. I just find it easy to handle, really. I got used to doing it. The only reason I cut it off was when I had to cut it short because my bag was only about that big. It was just to fit it in the bag, really, and I just got used to it. This is a collapsible water jar, just clear water inside, but it's got this nice lip which you can brush against the side just to take the excess water off. The rest of the excess water I just wipe on the tea towel. Bits of tissue lying around for taking out clouds. The paper's always 15 by 11, Fabriano Watercolour, £130. So I'm going to start off. This is just clean water straight out the jar, using the large paintbrush all the way over. I'm just going to dip the tips in just to bring all the ears back together, and I'm going to go raw sienna, a bit of alizarin crimson, a bit of light red, crimson, raw sienna. Let's get it a bit brighter, sort of light red, lemon yellow. Bit more water. Raw sienna, lemon yellow, a bit of red in there. Bit more yellow. Bit more crimson. All looks a bit chaotic at the moment, but it will start to come together. And I'm going into the ultramarine blue, bit of alizarin crimson in there as well. And let's just make this darker area, so you got a nice contrast with the lights, a bit more blue. In there, bit of reflection, just reflects that sort of lighter area into what will be sort of water down the bottom. And then a bit of blue, a bit of black. I say black, it's actually raw Payne's grey. Right, there's going to be like a mountain around there, so I just want to make sure. Yeah, if I grab a piece of tissue, I just want to make sure that it's not too dark for the profile of the mountain to come up. So I'm just going to put a bit of cloud in there. And like I say, it also doubles against, because I'm making that lighter now, the mountain peak will show up a bit better. A bit more cloud on this side. And always, if you see the paint dripping down, it's an easy way of getting rid of that dripping paint coming down your paper. Just add a few clouds and soak the water up. A bit like that. So that's a nice little backdrop now you can work with. So I'm just going to pull that tight so the paper's flat against the board. Just refix it with these bulldog clips. Some people like to pre-stretch, but I just do it as I go along. I'm just going to strengthen this bit down the bottom. Obviously the darker I make the sides, the lighter that appears in the middle. The light reflecting off the sky. Now, mountains. I'm just going to take all the colours, same colours from the sky. And then we're going something up there like that, and then like that, and then I'm going to again try and create a sort of misty effect at the foot of the mountains, and also the trees at the bottom will show up better. Doing it like that. There, a bit round there. Green, more green, bit of blue, bit of green. Right now, which way shall I do? There's a few ways of doing trees. I might just try flicking it up like this. See what that looks like. Just flicking it up. Brush isn't too wet, so you can see the individual hairs as each tree gives the impression of each tree. And do it all the way up along that way. A few more on this side, all up to the end. Right, so that's the first layer in, nice and faint, so it looks quite distant. Now the stuff I put in front of that, I want it stronger. So you can see I haven't got much water. There's no water in the palette at all. I can tip it upside down. So there's just enough water to hold all the hairs together. So I can go. I'm going a really strong mix now. I'm doing ultramarine blue, lemon yellow, bit of Payne's grey, really sort of deep dark green. And then in front of this there, what is like the water sort of sweeping round. It's going to be a. See how dark. How dark that looks, almost too dark. I don't want to cover up the trees I've just done. So let's just put that up to about there. Further up there. I'm just going to clean this brush slightly. It seems to be a bit of burnt umber, ultramarine. And this is like the just straightening this what is actually a river bank coming across there. And I'm trying to get these lines parallel with the bottom of the paper. Don't sort of do it on a slant because it just don't look right. So there, something like that. Or even just take a few little bit of fingernail just to make it look like the trunks, tree trunks. Something like that. It's always best left subtle, don't try not to overdo it. I'll go in close afterwards so you can see it. I'll have to try and find some way I can sort of zoom the camera in and out while I'm painting. I can't, it just ruins the flow. If I do it now, it just ruins the flow. Right, let's get some big stuff on this right hand side. So, lemon yellow, bit of Payne's grey, and this is a sort of just put the trunk in first. It's going to be something like that, and then if you've watched Bob Ross, you'll very sort of similar. Well, same way. I'm completely ripping him off basically. Well, I say rip off. I mean, you know, we're all learning from each other. Put another one down there, something like that, and just using the corner of the brush, bring that down there again. Using the finger now just to suggest the trunk and a few twigs. And in front of that I might go lemon yellow. Put a bit of light red, see what that looks like. Not sure that worked. I'm going to go darker, I think. Lemon yellow, Payne's grey. Let's just darken it a bit. And then if I just bring that out right over by that light bit there, so you can see just creates a bit more drama. So you got the sort of light and then the dark and the light and then the dark. Always looking for that contrast. I'm just going to pull this tie in. The paper has stretched slightly. I might even get through this without using the hairdryer. I know a lot of people don't like the noise. Just dipping the very tip in, just so the paint, just to loosen it a bit, give it a little bit dry it was. So again, let's work out what do we want. That one's higher. I'm going to make this one slightly lower. Just put that in, just using the tip. Bring that down there like that, with a fingernail in there. That'll do for that. And another one there. I'm just going to stick a few in there while it's on the brush. See there in the background. And another one by the side there. Get it a little bit lighter, so I'm just going to clean the brush. Some off on the lip, take some off on the tea towel, and then say raw sienna. Bit of lemon yellow. So it's going a bit sticky now. Going a bit sticky coming off. Let's see if I can get enough onto the brush like that. See, then I could even go into these darker areas and see like that. That'll do for that. And again, straight into the Payne's grey, you see then the contrast, how it darkens. That with dipping the tips in, just loosen the paint a little bit and into the burnt umber, and ultramarine, that sort of dark. This is for the mud banks now. And again, popping in these, like keeping it parallel with the bottom of the paper, otherwise it'll look silly if it's slanted. You can see again, I took it right out into that lighter area, just to maximise the contrast. And I'm just sort of dabbing there like that. You can always take the piece of card, maybe get a few little rocks along here. Remember, because they're far away, they're going to be really, really small. It's covered up by that tray. A few down here. See, if you notice I'm doing it the other way around now, instead of doing it like that. So as you've got the light coming down here, it's sort of catching on that side, and then it catches on the other side as the light's coming that way. I'll do. Try not to overdo it. I don't think I'm going to do too much more with that, to be honest with you. So now all of that was done with the height brush. It's amazing how much you can get done. I'm just going to switch now, right at the very end, switch to the rigger brush. Just to get a dark mix, and then just make sure it comes to a nice fine point. And then I'm just going to make sure that's dry. And let my hand isn't dirty. I'm just going to put three little birds up there flying, and then all that's left to do is just put my name in the corner. And I'm going to call that one finished. So let's have a closer look at it. Well, I've put a mount on it, and this is what our picture looks like. So as usual, I started off with the sky, and we've got various combinations of, we've got yellows and reds and raw sienna, a bit of alizarin crimson, and I was eager to preserve this lighter area in the sky that sort of reflected down into the water below. I added a bit of Payne's grey, a bit of ultramarine, just to create these darker areas. And then the advantage of having the darker areas, then you can use the tissue to take out a bit of cloud, just to make it a bit more dramatic. And you'll see where I took out the cloud there, just where I wanted the peak to go, just to help with the contrast and the profile of the mountains. Although I think I could probably have done them a bit more, made them a bit more pronounced. They sort of fade away really a bit. You can see where I took the bottom of the mountains out with the tissue to try and create a bit of mist going through the valley, and then the sort of distant, more greeny trees there, done them in a lighter tone as opposed to these ones a bit closer to us, done really strong, lots of Payne's grey, lemon yellow, ultramarine, just a real deep, rich, well it almost looks black rather than green when the trees come all the way along. With these big ones here on the right hand side, you can see where I did a bit of scraping out with my fingernails to suggest twigs and branches right up to the tops of the trees, and again just contrasting nicely against the lighter area of the sky here. You see a bit of fingernail work where I've suggested the trunks here in the trees. Try not to go too over the top. And then these rocks, so once you've practiced them for such a simple method, that can look pretty effective. Just have to wait for the paint to be about half dry, and then just scrape them straight in, all the way along the riverbank, up the river, more on the left hand side. And as you scrape them, and it just looks as if the light, it's catching the light as it comes down. So you've got sort of light on the right hand side and then shadow on the left. Into the foreground now, a few reds here, darker colours, and you can see where I brought it right over just to push it right into the light reflecting in the water, just for that bit more contrast there for maximum impact. Little birds flying in the sky, just try and add a bit of life. Well, I hope you like that. Thanks for watching. I know it's been a long time since I made a video, but I've just been trying to practice hard, just try and make the videos more interesting and more dramatic. So keep practicing. Very best of luck, and I'll see you again soon.